what are maybe some like really quick adjustments that I can make, not going obviously too far in depth because like they should talk to you and consult with you
Yeah.
about this stuff, but that you typically help with in some of those topics on processes and skills?
Yeah, I think the number one thing would be go bigger and go broader, right? And but you have to have the skills to do that. I think the other part is in most cases, a lot of the hacks are we go to shipping managers, transportation managers, and I teach that there are 4 levels of decision makers in every company. You got the executive, the director, the manager, and the user, right? And in most cases, we've been taught to go with a very transactional message into a very user buyer perspective. Like, let me talk to the shipping manager. Well, yeah, shipping manager probably makes freight decisions, but like, can they add new carriers? My boss needs to approve new carrier. Like, you're into this perspective. So I think the number one thing I would tell a lot of companies is like, all right, start to think about the messaging and the level of contact you're going into. Because if you're talking to somebody that can give you 10 loads, cool. But is there somebody in the organization that can give you 1,000? And if that's the case, like, I want to talk to that person that give me 1,000 and have a much more strategic conversation. The problem is I've got to have the framework to have a more strategic conversation. I like to think about like an equation, and I get this into my training, but like, if I go at a C level or D level person with a transactional, I fail because like, they're going to be like, hey, I have people that route freight, like, go talk to those. Like, you're going to get the pass down 100% of the time. And then if you start with a consultative message and you go to lower level people, a lot of cases are like, wait, you're trying to take my job? So like, it really is about this alignment between like, what am I saying? How am I going to market? Who am I calling? What is the company? So there's this triangulation, and there's a little bit of math and art and science to this whole thing, right? And I think, the number one thing I would say is like taking a step back and reflect on what I'm doing. I think we're all like get or done people, right? Which is great. And logistics is built like that. Like, I want to get in, I want to solve the problems, I'm going to go 100 miles an hour. Well, the issue is I don't think enough people take a step back and like assess what they're doing and see if they're having success in what they're doing.
True. I'd agree with that.
Like, I remember like early in my career, I pulled up a list and like I called like 100 people on the list, and like it's a list of 5,000 people. I'm like 100 in, and like none of them had freight. And I was like, okay, go. Like, this is not a good list. I think, again, the list I'm using, who I'm calling, the messages I'm going with, the contact level I'm calling, like, if it's not working, I need to reformat it. And the other piece, just like complete empathy for salespeople today. It is harder than it's ever been to get somebody on the phone, get somebody to respond to your email. It is brutal. Outreach is just tragically difficult. And so you got to make sure you're doing the right stuff, because otherwise you're just, you're kind of putting it into the universe and you're not sure if you're going to get something out of it.